Welcome to Be Well.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hi, Vivian. Thank you all for joining us. I'm Jonathan from Your Why, and I'm truly honored to have our guest today and to bring you conversations like these with leaders in their field related to living a mindful life. When I think of as your moderator, first off, I come to you with 30 plus years of experience in mental health and mindfulness. I will offer you Thich Nhat Hanh's definition of mindfulness, and what he says is to be mindful is to be truly alive, present, and at one with those around you and with what you are doing. And as you get an opportunity to learn about Vivian this afternoon, you'll see that she is someone who is alive and mindful with the work that she does in her community and the passion that she brings to that. I encourage you as we go along to offer questions in the chat, make whatever comments you would like. Feel free to use the gallery view to probably have the best viewing experience. But Vivian, welcome. As some of you may know, hopefully you all know, Vivian's council member for District 8, a lifelong resident of South San Diego, has truly dedicated her career to improving the region's most underserved communities through her experience, volunteer work, and public service. There's a quote that's on her website from First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt that I love. For your own success to be real, it must contribute to the success of others. And this is what embodies the philosophy, kind of the guiding light of Vivian's work. So Vivian, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. And hello to everybody watching.
Wonderful. So how did you get started? Give me kind of a sketch of your activism and how you moved down this path to where you are.
Well, I think, first and foremost, by the time I was in high school, I knew that I wanted to be involved in politics in some way, shape, or fashion. Um, I graduated, and I graduated from UCSD, and I wasn't too active. I just wanted to graduate. And as soon as and I studied political science, and the focus was international relations at UCSD, and I graduated, and I actually became a broker buyer in the metal industry. I worked in Kearney Mesa in the private sector, and it was going to be a lucrative career, but it didn't fulfill me. It didn't, fill my jar of happiness, if you will,
Sure.
and and so I actually got an email from the San Diego County Young Democrats. I sat in the back for many meetings, and the only two things that I could do, because I wasn't I wasn't a staffer for some cool, Congress person, or I wasn't a lawyer. The only thing that I could do was donate a little bit of money and show up to precinct walks. And, here we are, gosh, almost 10 years later, and it's the most important thing that you could do in politics, right, in this industry, is show up for people that you believe in, and when you can, donate a little bit of money. So that the Young Democrats really opened the door for the political engagement that I really wanted. It was there that I met my predecessor and my boss for 8 years, David Alvarez, former council member David Alvarez. So, as soon as I met him, I was like, I want to walk for him. I want to give him money. And so that the Young Dems really pushed me in that direction. But before that, one of the things I wanted to share with you guys was also when I graduated from university. It was a tumultuous time. The recession was in full swing. And I had been told all my life that, as long as you get an education, you're going to have a job. Well, I was a graduate, and I didn't have a job. And a friend of mine turned to me and said, "You need to become a mentor." I said, I need a job. I don't need to become a mentor. I need a job. And that is exactly what I needed. I needed to become a mentor. And I became a mentor through Mana de San Diego, through their Hermanitas program. And I mentored a young lady when if you would have asked Vivian in 2007, I probably needed, I needed a mentor. But it really, showed me that, you know, a lot of really cool things that it showed me. Giver's gain was one of the, you know, fundamental things from that program. But that in essence, and also another quick little tidbit, because Mana didn't let me go for many years, right? I was on their board, I was this, I was that, I was all kinds of really cool things within the Mana organization. But one of the things that I did through Mana is I fundraised for them. They asked me to be the fundraising committee chair, I don't know how many years ago. And I, you know, I have to say that the first $1,000 that I was able to cobble together came from yours truly, right? Because you can't ask somebody to do something that you're not willing to do. So that was
Exactly.
another fundamental that I learned. And Mana really also pushed me into very uncomfortable positions, like asking people for money, that are fundamental to people that do want to run in politics, right? You have to be okay with asking your Uncle George for money, right? You have to be okay. That's your
You
base.
do. You do, because you need that support to be able to do and accomplish the things you want. Vivian, I read a little bit about the Hermanitas program. Can you share a little bit? I mean, it sounds like some incredible things, and there's some different directions that it goes in terms of what it provides as leadership and whatnot. So, if you will, give us a sketch of that program.
So essentially, Mana de San Diego has about 5 different programs. One of their programs is their Hermanitas program that runs the school year. And they roughly have about anywhere from 40 to 60 young ladies from the age of 13 to 18 that get paired up with a mentor, a professional woman of color. And I, for instance, in my, as an experience, I got paired up with a young lady by the name of Yanif, and I met her at 13. She was in middle school in 8th grade, and from September to June, every once a month we would have different sessions. Essentially, Hermanitas has a different session, and they expose the young girls to different job opportunities, whether it be through university or whether it be through a vocational training. And so I continue to mentor her through Hermanitas up until she graduated high school. So 5 years, I was her mentor, and you know, you just become I always would tell her, I'm in between your friend and your mom, right? I'm somewhere in between you know, those guidelines essentially. And you know, for me, it was exactly what I needed, right? It was exactly what I would have wanted as a young woman, and I was able to give that to somebody. And Hermanitas program offers, you know, offers the girls scholarships once they graduate. We had a wonderful partnership with Southwest Air through Lydia Martinez, and like my hermanita, when she graduated from university, took a job out in DC, and you know, she couldn't pay for the air flight, and Mana stepped in through Southwest, and they just really, we really offer, how can I say it? We open the windows and doors of opportunity. Like, look here and look over there, and you can do this and you can do that. So it's an amazing program that is just, it's the biggest in San Diego County for Latinas. And you know, us as mentors, we end up receiving more than what we're giving. So it really ends up being a win-win for not only the mentor, I mean, not only for the mentee, the mentor as well.
It's definitely a rich experience, and as I look at your bio, you've done that in a lot of different ways. So today we're honoring Hispanic heritage, and I do want to say that here in my particular branch, the Ryan Family Y, Maite Young, who is a shining star in our membership department, first generation Mexican American coming to our country, and her family pursuing college, really a go-getter and a talent, and we're so fortunate to have her. But share, what are we doing to honor our Hispanic heritage in the community today?
Well, I think for one, you know, just let me start by saying, just being an elected official, right? Being a woman of color, I understand that that has a lot of that has a lot of responsibility, right? That responsibility, the way that I see it is, you know, when I have a young Latina girl pass me at City Hall, because there is the Chavez high school, I think about, you know, what I represent to her, right? When I'm in a suit and pearls and all that good stuff, and I represent the fact that she could be what,
Yes.
you know. I studied political science, and in politics a lot. You have to see the person, right? That you have to see the person that's governing, essentially, and that person has to look like you, and the person has to, um, you know, you have to be able to grasp that person, and that's why I think representation is very, very important. And but you know, I think, you know, California has many prominent Hispanics, right? I mean, you know, we'll include Cesar Chavez, you know, Ellen Ochoa, and I could name off a whole bunch of people, but you know, really, we are, I think, what, the sixth most powerful entity of the world in California, and that really is on the backs of my Hispanic brothers and sisters, right? We in essence, we run this state, and I'll take it back to my great grandfather, right? That was here before the Great Depression, and how he helped make California what it is now. My grandfather that worked in the canneries in LA, they are the ones that made California what it is right now, right? And so it is my responsibility. I think politics takes a little bit longer to catch up, but it's my responsibility now as an elected official to really to not only to praise them, but also to give them a good name, right? And so that is a responsibility that I do not take lightly. It's very
Well, and I respect that you carry that mantle, that modeling, that example in such a mindful way, because you know that those that are coming up, the youth that are coming up, are looking to you and aspiring to that. I can do that, and I can offer something. Vivian is doing this in the community, and how can I learn from her example and be inspired by her example? There was a comment in our chat that says that from Martha, that we don't see enough people in leadership that look like me, not enough Latinas as role models.
And even, you know, I was elected, and I didn't share this with you guys. I'm sorry. I'll give you guys a little bit of background about myself. I was elected in 2018. I had a really, really tough election. I think I ran against virtually everybody, the Democratic Party, even though I'm a delegate of the Democratic Party, Labor, almost every elected official that represents my district was against me. So in essence, I was running against something that was much, much bigger than me. But you know, I had very hardworking parents, and they taught me the importance of working hard. So for me, you know, the things that I can control are myself, right? And so you mix that with hard work. I ended up walking 8,000 doors. I went
Wow.
walking 8,000 doors to get elected, and I won by 459 votes. So every single door was very, very important, right? And I want to share this with the audience listening, because I had a gentleman. He was an older Latino man, and he told me, he asked me, he said, "Can women be council members?"
Wow.
And to me, you know, here I am, 21st century, you know, educated and still very connected to my roots. And to me, that feeling is still, it's still alive. And so for me, it was even more important to do even harder work so that other little girls can see me and it's normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, yeah, Vivian or whomever, right? That's a Latina. I know her. She looks like me. She talks like me. And so that to me was very important. Representation is just the most important thing that we could have in
So
politics.
what could we say to Martha that helps further us along that continuum where she's not seeing enough people that look like her in leadership? I know the Manas program has a leadership and mentoring opportunities, but what would you say to other Latinas out in the community in terms of what can they do as next steps?
Well, I think for one, we all get a calling. right? When I was asked to become a mentor, like I said, the thing that I needed was a job, but I listened to that person. I listened to that person and I stepped up to the plate, right? So I said, okay, absolutely. I'm going to become part of this organization. But as a council member now, what I would recommend and what I have done essentially is I've prioritized placing Latinas in city boards and commissions, as well as recruited, other people in my district to become board members. I think, boards and commissions in the city region, they make decisions on everything, right? From housing, where your tax dollars get spent, to relationships with police, racial equity, and on too many of these boards, folks just don't look like the community at all, right? So, and these are decision makers. These are decision makers that should share similar life experiences with residents, right? They represent. And if we don't have folks in the boardrooms and the nonprofits making decisions that look like the community, then there is a discrepancy, right? I remember I was a student intern for the assessor recorder county clerk, and one of the things my grandpa told me, my grandpa speaks English but it's broken, and he was older then. He still is older, but and he said every single time you have somebody ask you for something, look at me, see me in them. And so the way that I treated people was everybody was my grandpa, right? Everybody was my grandpa. And I think that we all have lived experiences, right? So another really poignant thing about me growing up in the South Bay was my dad is from Ensenada. And we would go every weekend, right? So I'm truly bicultural. He wouldn't allow us to speak English in the house, so I was able to really my Spanish is really good, right? So those things matter, right? When I'm sitting in a like, let's say for instance, I'm at San Isidro middle school or high school, and I'm presenting, and the moment I speak Spanish, kids are like, whoa, like you speak Spanish, like that's important. And so that's why we need and I think we've kind of seen it in the, I don't know why I'm thinking about this, but we've kind of seen it in the fashion industry, right? I don't know if you or any of the people listening remember the hoodie that Gucci made, right? Gucci made this hoodie of a blackface, and the fact that it got to the point where they are putting this jacket on the hanger, right, of a store, led me to understand that there wasn't somebody that said, hey, that kind of looks like blackface, maybe we shouldn't, maybe we shouldn't have that there. And that's important in the boards as well, right? And like, for instance, with us, I sit on the MTS board, and I ride the trolley, I ride the bus, and we get to see and feel what it feels like to ride on the trolley. And so I would tell the viewers that your lived experience is the most important thing that you have, and sharing that lived experience is so vital. And when you go into a setting of a board or boards or commission, when you go into a setting of a nonprofit, you amplify who you are, right? You amplify your experience, and the odds of somebody else living that same experience is huge. So I would tell people listening that you need to join a boards or commission in your community. You should jump on a nonprofit board to get more access.
And so a lot of those are opportunities that you just seek out and apply. It's not really an application that you're voted into, but it's really seeking out those, as you said, that you have a passion for and want to contribute your time resource to.
Yeah, so a few of, just a shameless plug, a few of the many nonprofits in my community, there's Barrio Station, there's the Chicano Park Museum, there's Casa Familiar in San Isidro, Chicano Federation, San Isidro Health, Logan Heights CDC, MAC Project, House of Mexico, the Sherman Heights Community Center, Environmental Health Coalition, also known as EHC. And hey, there's Borderview YMCA board, of which
There
I'm a
it is.
board member of.
I,
Um,
I, I love the plug. You came full circle there.
yes, and that's, you know, and even on the board of Borderview YMCA, I feel like I've made an impact, right? I came in before I was a council member, and I feel like I made an impact before being a council member, and now obviously being a council member and still sitting on the board. It's important, right? My lived experience on Borderview YMCA is important, and it's one that's listened to, right? People people listen. And then plus you have lifelong friendships, you meet lifelong friendships, you know, it's that full circle of, once again, givers gain, right? You end up gaining more than you're giving.
So I look at I've researched a little bit and looked at the different releases from your office and all the different things that you're involved in. So if I can, we'll just highlight a couple, if you will, speak to inclusionary ordinance related to housing in the district.
You want me to speak on inclusionary?
Yeah.
So the inclusionary ordinance, that was one that I had, that was a tough vote for me, to be honest with you. That was a very tough vote for me, just because I think the purpose of the inclusionary is obviously to set aside funding for low to moderate income census tracts. The part that I thought, you know, the part that I thought we could have inched our way in the direction where there was more the numbers got bigger and bigger, essentially. But I thought that the numbers that was proposed the first time around was not the right number at the time, because at the end of the day, you know, there's somebody that has to develop the parcel of land, right? So if the numbers don't pan out, then nothing is going to get developed. And so that's what I struggled with.
So tell me about Hearts and Hands working together, the food distribution.
So Hearts and Hands is an organization that is in San Isidro, and they have a food distribution Monday through Friday in San Isidro. I believe they start from 3 to 6. And they're an amazing organization of women that have really, they're the ladies that you go to when, for instance, if we are, as an example, if we are given turkeys to pass out, they're a group that I want to join forces with, because they know the lady who needs this the most, right?
Sure.
They know the family who needs this the most. So they're a wonderful organization.
So there's obviously a lot of discussion about police reform, and I don't know how you want to kind of speak to where we are as a city related to our policing and reform and the sensitivity and awareness of all of our communities.
Yeah, so for one, the city of San Diego, I think when you look at it throughout the whole nation, I think we're doing a way better job than most other cities. We definitely have a lot of room for growth, right? I'm a supporter of Measure B, of giving the Citizens Review, of reforming the Citizens Review Board and having them have teeth to be able to look at circumstances that are questionable, if you will. But, you know, I've been a huge advocate of community policing. My district runs in the northern part of the city, and then I have the city of Chula Vista and National City in between the southern part of my district. And it's night and day. You know, the southern part of our district has, the police has an amazing relationship. We have an officer by the name of Carlos Lacara that goes everywhere. I mean, this man knows everybody, goes everywhere, and it really shows. It really shows because the police have a really good relationship with the constituency. So I think we need a few things. One, And the chief has already done this one. We need to recruit from our own community, right? So before, the city of San Diego would recruit officers from outside of the state, right?
Okay.
We need to recruit from our own community. That's one. And also the community relations of between the police and the community is paramount. And also I'm missing the third kind of set of here. Community, cultural training. That's the right. So I think cultural competency, cultural training is very important for our PD officers to have. You know, I have never been a target of let me just put it this way. Every single time I've gotten stopped, it was my doing, right? But I walk my community a lot, as I was sharing with you earlier. I walk my community a lot, and I have seen circumstances where I would say that this person was being absolutely profiled, right? And that shouldn't be happening, right? That police officer should already know who that guy is at the park. That's
Exactly.
so we have a long ways to go, but we have definitely worked towards some reform that's important. Do I believe in defunding the police? Hey, if I call 911, I want somebody to pick up, right? So I was not in agreement with defunding the police in just the term defunding. Do we need to do a lot of work? Yes, we do, and we're working on it.
Good. Vivian, tell me about the creation of the Office of Race and Equity.
Well, that was a very important measure that my colleague Monica Montgomery really took upon herself. She, there is a. I'm trying to sound politically correct, but that's tough. If you look at the city of San Diego, right, all you have to do is look at the directors. Do the directors reflect the community? I would argue that they don't. Right? Are women being paid the same as men? I mean, we have studies that show that we're not, right? Who are these contracts being given to, right? We're spending over $200 million in outside contracting. Who is this money being given to? And so this is an office that will look at matters, right? That I just mentioned, and they will help us guide us in the direction to where we are being inclusive, right? We're the 8th largest city of the nation. We border Mexico, so obviously there's a huge, this was Mexico, right? So there's a huge influence in that part. And for a lot of minorities, a lot of minorities end up there's a lot of upward movement for minorities within the government, right? So we want to make sure that we're doing the right thing by hiring, everybody, and by making sure that our workforce looks like the population that we're governing.
And that seems to be a thread to quite a few of the comments that you have shared, those opportunities and that representation throughout our community. There was a question. Please.
Can I add to that? The other thing that I'm working on I haven't been as public about it, but I want this office to have oversight on is an equity fund. So right now we're discussing the franchise agreement. And that's basically, we allow our public utilities company to use our streets to put in all their gas and electricity needs, right? And so we get a certain amount of money each month because of this agreement. So we're discussing this agreement, and this fund, I want this fund to be able to address some of the climate action needs that we have in the city of San Diego. Climate is something that's it's very important to me. Climate change is very real, and so we address climate change, and the climate change has disproportionately affected communities of color, District 4, District 8, and District 9, right? So this equity fund, I want to make sure that we put in money through this franchise fee, and that we're able to address some of the some of the discrepancies, if you will, right? The parks that have been promised 35 years ago that are sitting vacant, the sidewalks that need repair in our communities, the lighting. We're having to play catch up in the city of San Diego on the equity front, and so that's this fund is the purpose of this fund is to address those inequities, and that department will oversee these funds.
Excellent. So we have an important date coming up. There's an election. I wonder, there's a question related to what we're doing through our council to get the vote out and support people in being able to vote.
Well, I think for one, we as individuals are definitely promoting, right, that people go out and vote. One of the things that we did as a board member of MTS is you will be able to ride the bus for free on election day, right? So it's one of those free ride days that we have once a year. So that's one of the things that we have done. And me as an elected official, I mean, that's something that we always continuously are pushing, is we want more people to be involved in this election. So I mentioned, previously walking 8,000 doors, right, and having having my team just be really focused in getting out the vote, which is very important. I think we're gonna have quite a few people come out and vote in November, right? So
I think so, and I would want you to know, and our viewers to know, that the YMCA is a site for mail ballots to be dropped off. So we're trying to do our part as an association as well. So Vivian, our time has gone fast. I just want to say, if there's anything else that you want to share with us in closure.
Well, I think one of the things that I would like to share is I want to make sure that the viewers have a call to action, right? So if within your own city, I'm going to assume everybody here is from the city of San Diego, but that's not fair to assume. But if there are ever any matters coming before your council, I want to stress the importance of communicating with your elected official, whether it be through email or through a letter. It is so vital. So many times, we were told, well, you shouldn't have voted this way, and I thought this, and I always tell people, you need to call us and tell us, right? You need to call us and tell us. And so, and also the other thing I want to add is make sure you guys get on boards and commissions for your respective city, or you join a board from a nonprofit. We definitely need representation, and so that would be my message. Thank you for inviting me to speak. And
Vivian, it's such a pleasure, and for me to have the opportunity to get more apprised and aware of all that you're doing and the needs of our community. I just want to say thank you for your service to our community and continued impact that you have with the youth in our community and empowering them. Truly a pleasure having a conversation with you. I know we almost didn't get onto the webinar because we were just enjoying our time together. So I wish you the best, and wonderful to come into your acquaintance. So thank you, Vivian.
Everybody stay safe, and thank you for having me.
And until we meet again, be well. Thank you.